Feast of First Fruits.
Part 1, the first fruits frequency and the DNA harvest.
Welcome back, family, to another heavy-hitting session on Yah First Ministries. I am Brother Bet Sadeh Lamed Aleph Lamed, and if you tuned in today, it's because the Spirit of the Most High is pulling on your coat sleeve, telling you it's time to wake the hell up. We aren't here for that lukewarm, milquetoast, Sunday morning pancake breakfast bullshit you grew up with in those whitewashed churches. We are here to decode the technical manual of our Creator. Peace to the scattered remnant across the four corners of this flat earth, from the concrete jungles of America to the islands of the Caribbean, down to the favelas of Brazil, and across the waters to our brothers catching hell in the UK and Africa. You are the chosen seed, and today we are breaking the seal on a topic most of these punk-ass pastors wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole because they don't have the clearance to understand it. Today, we are diving deep into the Feast of First Fruits 2026. This isn't just some quote-unquote Jewish holiday or a suggestion for your calendar. This is a scheduled system maintenance protocol. This is a high-level engineering specification for the harvest of the Adamic DNA. Over this 3-part episode, we are going to strip away the religious garbage and look at the physics of the resurrection, the biological source code of the 144,000, and why the year 2026 represents a critical synchronization point in the master engineer's timeline. We're going to look at the Paleo-Hebrew programming language that executes this harvest and why the heathen are absolutely shitting themselves as this date approaches. By the time we're done with part 3, you're going to realize that First Fruits is a biometric authentication event that separates the wheat from the serpent seed tares with surgical precision. The Master Engineer's scheduling protocol. Let's get one thing straight right out of the gate. Yah is the Master Engineer, and he does not do random. Every feast day he gave to Mem Shen He, Moses, on the mountain was a technical specification for a cosmic cycle. When you look at Leviticus chapter 23, you aren't looking at a list of parties. You are looking at a cron job, a scheduled process that runs automatically in the operating system of creation. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 10. Speak unto the children of Israel, and say unto them, when ye be come into the land which I give unto you, and shall reap the harvest thereof, then ye shall bring a sheaf of the firstfruits of your harvest unto the priest. Do you hear that? The first fruits of your harvest. He isn't talking about some damn groceries. He's talking about the biological output of the Adamic line. The land is the pressurized containment vessel we call the earth, and the harvest is the collection of perfected DNA. Most of you Negroes are still sitting in church waiting for a rapture, like some kind of cosmic Uber is gonna pick your lazy ass up and fly you to a cloud. That is serpent seed horse shit. The master engineer doesn't rapture, he extracts data. He harvests the code that has been refined through the fire of the curses. The Feast of First Fruits happens on the morrow after the Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath during the week of unleavened bread. Why? Because the Sabbath is the system reboot, and First Fruits is the initialization of the new software version. When Yud Hey Wah Shin Ayin, Jesus, rose from the grave, he didn't just perform a magic trick. He executed a hardware override. He was the first fruits of them that slept. 1 Corinthians chapter 15, verse 20. He proved that the Adamic vessel, when running the correct Torah-compliant firmware, can overcome the death virus that the serpent man injected into the garden. Decoding the Paleo-Hebrew. Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Ta. To understand first fruits, you have to look at the Paleo-Hebrew word for it. Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Ta. Reshit. Let's break this down letter by letter, because the pictographs are the engineering diagrams. 1. Resh. Man's head equals head / beginning / first. 2. Aleph. Ox head equals strength / leader. 3. Shin, teeth equals consume/destroy/press. 4. Yod, hand/arm equals work/deed/function. 5. Ta, cross sticks equals mark/covenant/signal. When you read the code from left to right, Resh, Aleph, Shin, Yud, Ta tells you exactly what the Feast of First Fruits is. It is the head strength, Resh, Aleph, that consumes the work, Shin, Yud, to produce the mark, Ta. It is the master engineer identifying the strongest part of the crop, the ones who have the mark of the covenant, DNA, and separating them from the chaff. In the modern world, you call this biometric authentication. When you try to unlock your phone with your face or your thumbprint, the software is looking for a specific first fruit match. If the data doesn't match the source code, the system stays locked. That's what Yah is doing in 2026. He is scanning the scattered Negroes worldwide. He's looking at the brothers in the projects, the sisters in the islands, the families in the wilderness, and he's checking the DNA signal. If you're still out here eating pork, worshiping the three-headed Trinity monster, and ignoring the Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath, your signal is corrupted. You are a 404 error in the master engineer's database. You aren't first fruits. You're a system bug that's about to be deleted. The 2026 synchronization. Why now? Why are we talking about 2026? Because the master engineer works on cycles of 7, completion, and 12, governance. We are approaching the convergence of cycles that the serpent seed has been trying to hide for centuries. They know the timeline. That's why they're pushing their Great Reset and their Agenda 2030. They are trying to build a counterfeit firewall before Yah's harvest signal hits the atmosphere. Look at the book of Jubilees. The enemy ripped this out of your Bible because it contains the true calendar. In Jubilees chapter 2, it details the creation timeline with precision. The master engineer set the luminaries, the sun and the moon, inside the dome of the firmament as a clock. Jubilees chapter 2, verse 9. And Yah appointed the sun to be a great sign on the earth for days and for Sabbaths and for months and for feasts and for years and for Sabbaths of years and for jubilees and for all seasons of the years. The sun and moon are not giant balls of gas floating in infinite space. That's NASA's bullshit. They are luminaries on a fixed circuit, like the hands on a watch. 2026 marks a specific Sabbath of years synchronization. It is a moment where the biological clock of the 144,000 aligns with the celestial clock of the firmament. Think of it like this. Have you ever had to sync your phone to your computer? You plug it in, the bar starts moving, and the data transfers. If you unplug it halfway through, the data gets corrupted. The Feast of First Fruits is the sync point. If you aren't in alignment with the Torah, by the time that 2026 window opens, you're going to be left with a corrupted file while the rest of the nation gets the upgrade. The graphic reality of the unfit. Let me tell you what happens to the ones who want first fruits. Most of you think Yah's just going to say, "Aw, shucks, you missed it." No, motherfucker. Read the manual. When the harvest comes, the tares, the serpent seed, and the rebellious Israelites get bundled for the fire. I'm talking about a destruction so graphic, it'll make your skin crawl. You ever seen a field of wheat get torched? The stalks don't just disappear. They shrivel, they blacken, they pop under the heat. That's your physical body when the high-frequency glory of Yah hits this low-frequency realm. If your DNA is in tune to the first fruits frequency, the sheer power of his presence will cause your cells to vibrate until they explode. Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12 isn't a metaphor. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Imagine standing there, and suddenly the moisture in your eyeball starts to boil. You try to scream, but your tongue has already turned into a piece of charred leather in your throat. Your skin starts to bubble and peel off your bones like wet wallpaper, sliding down into a heap of steaming, stinking meat at your feet. That is the judgment for the ones who refuse to align with the master engineer's blueprint. The stench of billions of rotting, burning bodies will be so thick you could cut it with a knife. The birds of the air are going to have a goddamn feast on the entrails of the people who thought the Sabbath was just a day. The DNA source code and the 144,000. We have to talk about the 144,000. These are the first fruits unto Yah and the Lamb. Revelation chapter 14, verse 4. These are they which were not defiled with women, for they are virgins. These are they which follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. These were redeemed from among men, being the first fruits unto Yah and to the Lamb. Not defiled with women doesn't mean they never had sex. It means they weren't defiled by the churches. In Scripture, a woman is often a symbol for a religious system or a nation. These 144,000 are Israelites who scrubbed the Catholic virus, the Baptist malware, and the Pentecostal spyware out of their brains. They returned to the original source code. The number 144,000 is a technical specification. 144 is 12 times 12. 12 is the number of governance. This is a double layer of governance. The 12 tribes of the Old Covenant and the 12 apostles of the New Covenant, multiplied by 1,000, the fullness of the nation. It's a quantum encryption. Only those with the specific Israelite DNA, the Negro scattered worldwide, who have the seal of Yah in their foreheads can pass the security check. What is the seal? It's the Paleo-Hebrew name. When you call them the true names, Yud-Hey-Wah-Hey and Yud-Hey-Wah-Shin-Ayin, you are broadcasting a specific frequency. It's like a radio signal. If you're out here screaming Jesus, you're on a dead frequency. The master engineer isn't listening to that channel. That's a pirate station run by the serpent seed to keep you distracted while they pick your pockets. But when you hit that Yud-Hey-Wah-Shin-Ayin frequency, the firewall drops. The connection is established. You are recognized as first fruits. The engineering of the wave sheaf. In the ancient temple, which was a motherboard for the nation, the priest would take the wave sheaf and wave it before Yah. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. Why wave it? Because the master engineer works through vibration and frequency. Everything in this creation is a waveform. Your solid table is just atoms vibrating at a specific frequency. Your body is a standing wave of light. When the priest waved the sheaf, he was performing a resonance test. He was aligning the physical harvest with the spiritual frequency of the throne room. In 2026, Yud-Hey-Wah-Shin-Ayin is going to wave the remnant. He is going to send a pulse through the firmament, a signal broadcast, and those who are first fruits will resonate with it. If you have the same frequency as the Messiah, you will be accepted. If you don't, you're like a glass that shatters when a soprano hits the wrong note. You will be destroyed by the very sound of his coming. The serpent seed knows this. That's why they flooded your world with 5G towers, Wi-Fi signals, and low-frequency music. They are trying to jam your signal. They want your DNA vibrating at the frequency of the beast system so that when the master engineer's harvest pulse hits, you don't resonate, you explode. They want you focused on your phone, your career, your black excellence bullshit, anything to keep you from tuning your vessel to the Torah. The pre-Adamic interference. You have to understand the history to understand the harvest. Before Yah formed Adam in the garden, there were already populations on this flat earth, the day 6 creations. These people have no covenant. They are the heathen. And then you have the serpent seed, the literal biological descendants of the man who seduced Ket Wahi in the garden. Kofi Nun, Cain, was the first virus in the system. He wasn't Adam's son, He was the son of the serpent man. That's why he killed Hebat Lamed, Abel. He carried the murderous, deceptive code of his father. This seed line is still here today. They are the ones running the central banks, the pharmaceutical companies, and the governments. They are the terrorists that look like wheat but have no substance. The Feast of First Fruits is the day the master engineer finally says, enough. He's coming to separate the Adamic seed from the serpent seed once and for all. He's coming to take his first fruits, the Negroes who have been ground into the dust by every nation on this earth, and set them as the head, resh, of the new system. The Spaniards, the British, the Arabs, the Africans who sold us, they all think they've won. They look at us in the ghettos and the plantations and they laugh. They think we're just dead bodies in the street. But they forgot about Revelation chapter 11. They forgot that the two witnesses, Israel and Judah, are about to stand on their feet. And when we stand, the first fruit signal is going to trigger a system crash for the entire Gentile world. The 2026 countdown. Family, we are in the final countdown. 2026 isn't just a year on a calendar, it's a deadline. In the world of engineering, if you don't meet the deadline, the project gets scrapped. Yah's not going to wait forever for you to stop acting like a damn fool. He's giving you the signs. He's giving you the names. He's giving you the Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath. He's giving you the technical manual. If you are still sitting there wondering if maybe the white man is my brother, you are already failing the intelligence test. If you are still letting some Pastor Porkchop tell you that the law is done away with, you are letting a serpent seed agent delete your access codes. First Fruits is about the best. It's about the first. It's about the ones who didn't wait for the crowd to wake up. It's about the ones who saw the blueprint, recognized the master engineer's hand, and started recoding their lives immediately. Are you First Fruits material? Or are you just more chaff for the fire? Are you ready for your DNA to be waved before the throne? Or is your vessel so full of worldly filth that you're going to shatter the moment the shofar sounds? Now, I've laid the foundation. I've shown you the scheduling protocol and the Paleo-Hebrew code, but we've only scratched the surface. In part 2, we are going to get into the biological hardware of the resurrection. We're going to look at the Sefer Yetzirah and how the 22 letters are used to reassemble the Israelite body into a glorified state. We're going to talk about the bright nature that Adam lost and how the first fruits of 2026 are going to get their hardware upgrade in the twinkling of an eye. Don't go anywhere. The signal's just getting started. Part 2, the biological hardware upgrade of the 144,000. We've established the scheduling protocol and the frequency of the harvest, but now we have to look at the actual hardware, the biological vessel that Yah is preparing to reboot in 2026. This isn't just a spiritual feeling, this is a physical transformation of the Adamic DNA that has been suppressed for thousands of years. The resurrection physics of the wave sheaf. When we look at the Feast of First Fruits, we have to go back to the blueprint of the wave sheaf. Most of you think the priest was just waving a bundle of grain around for show. But in the engineering of the tabernacle, that movement was a signal modulation. Leviticus chapter 23, verse 11. And he shall wave the sheaf before the Lord to be accepted for you. On the morrow after the Sabbath, the priest shall wave it. The morrow after the Sabbath is the first day of the week, Sunday sunrise. But notice the timing. It's the first day of the week during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. Why unleavened bread? Because leaven is a contaminant. It's a biological agent that causes fermentation and decay. To be first fruits, your DNA must be unleavened. It must be stripped of the serpent seed corruption and the heathen traditions that have been rotting our people's minds. When Yahweh Jesus, rose from the grave, he didn't just walk out of a hole in the ground. He executed a hardware override. His body was the first fruits because it was the first Adamic vessel to achieve superconductivity. Think about it like this. Your current body is a low voltage machine. You eat, you sleep, you shit, and eventually your battery dies and you rot in the dirt. That is the death virus. But the master engineer designed the original Adamic vessel to run on a much higher voltage, the bright nature, described in the book of Adam and Eve. When Adam and Eve sinned, they didn't just break a rule, they blowed the fuse. Their bodies lost the ability to process the high-frequency light of Yah's presence. They became opaque. They became flesh and blood in the corrupted sense. Yad-Hey-Wah Shanan came back to show us the prototype. When he rose, he had a body that could pass through walls, appear and disappear, and yet still eat fish. He was running on a different operating system. First Fruits 2026 is the date when the master engineer pushes that OS update to the rest of the 144,000. The Sefer Yetzirah and the 22-letter instruction set. To understand how this transformation works, you have to go into the Sefer Yetzirah, the Book of Formation. This is the master engineer's technical documentation for how he built reality using the 22 Paleo-Hebrew letters. These letters are not just an alphabet. They are an instruction set architecture, ISA, like x86 or ARM in your computer. Each letter is a command that compiles a specific part of creation. 1. Aleph, ox head equals strength/leader. 2. Mem, water equals chaos/mighty. 3. Shin, teeth equals consume/destroy. These are the three mothers. They represent the fundamental elements of the system. Aleph is the air/spirit. Mem is the water/matter. And Shin is the fire/energy. When Yah speaks, he is combining these letters to form code. Your DNA is literally a sequence of these 22 Paleo-Hebrew frequencies. The serpent seed knows this. They've spent centuries trying to map your genome so they can edit it with their bullshit vaccines and their CRISPR technology. They want to cut out the God gene, the part of your DNA that resonates with the Paleo-Hebrew frequency, and replace it with their own synthetic garbage. They want to turn you into a permanent slave bot that can't receive the signal from the throne room. But Yah says in the Sefer Yetzirah that he sealed the heavens and the earth with his name. That seal is biometric. In 2026, when the first fruit signal hits, it's going to act like a defrag for your DNA. Every piece of code that doesn't belong to the Adamic line is going to be purged. If you have the mark of the covenant, your cells are going to realign with the original blueprint. Your flesh is going to be upgraded to that bright nature. The graphic destruction of the corrupted seed. Now, let's talk about what happens to the motherfuckers who have been messing with the code. The serpent seed and the 2/3 of our own people who want to stay in the beast system. When the first fruits frequency hits, it's going to be like putting a cheap plastic toy in a high-powered microwave. You ever seen what happens when you put metal in a microwave? It sparks, it arcs, and then it explodes. That's what's going to happen to the people whose DNA is full of filth. Isaiah chapter 13, verse 8. And they shall be afraid. Pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Their faces shall be as flames. This isn't poetry. This is a description of thermal runaway. When the high-frequency glory of the Most High hits a body that is tuned to the low-frequency vibrations of sin, the resistance in the cells creates heat. Intense, white-hot heat. Imagine your neighbor, that punk ass who's been mocking the truth, suddenly clutching his chest. His skin starts to glow a dull red. Then his eyes start to smoke. He tries to scream, but the air in his lungs has turned into superheated steam. His internal organs start to liquefy. He's literally melting from the inside out while he's still standing there. The blood in his veins starts to boil, and his skin splits open like a hot dog on a grill, spraying scalding, stinking fluid everywhere. This is the day of the Lord that these soft-ass pastors don't want to tell you about. They want to talk about God as love. Yeah, Yah is love. He loves his chosen seed enough to incinerate the parasites that have been bleeding us dry for 400 years. He's going to turn this flat earth into a refiner's fire. And if you want first fruits, you're just fuel. The 144,000, a quantum processor array. Let's look at the technical layout of the 144,000. In Revelation chapter 7, it lists 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. This is a parallel processing array. In modern computing, if you want to solve a massive problem, you don't use one processor, you use a cluster. You link thousands of CPUs together so they can work as one. That is what the 144,000 are. They are the core processors of the new kingdom. Revelation chapter 14, verse 3. And they sung as it were a new song before the throne. And no man could learn that song but the 144,000 which were redeemed from the earth. The new song is the encryption key. It's a specific frequency, a harmonic resonance that only the 144,000 can generate. Why? Because their DNA has been tuned through the suffering of the diaspora. The curses of Deuteronomy chapter 28 weren't just punishment, they were stress testing. The master engineer put us through the fire of slavery, the Jim Crow era, the lynchings, the systemic poverty, and the worldwide oppression to see whose code would hold up. He was looking for the first fruits that wouldn't break under pressure. The ones who, even in the middle of the valley of the shadow of death, would still call on the names of Yad-Heh-Wah-Heh and Yad-Heh-Wah Shin Ayin. In 2026, those 144,000 are going to be quote-unquote activated. They are going to be linked together in a global network. When they speak, the earth will obey. When they move, the elements will shift. They will be the quote-unquote gods on the earth that the scripture talks about. Not because they are Yah, but because they are perfectly aligned with his will. They are the interface between the creator and the creation. The serpent seed's counterfeit, AI and transhumanism. The serpent seed knows the 2026 window is closing. That's why they are rushing their artificial intelligence and their transhumanist agenda. They are trying to build a counterfeit first fruits body. They want to merge their DNA with silicon and machines so they can achieve immortality without having to submit to the Torah. But here's the joke. Their AI is just a crude, reverse-engineered copy of the Paleo-Hebrew programming language. They are trying to build a tower to heaven using binary code, zeros and ones, while Yah is running the universe on a 22-character quantum language. It's like trying to run a modern high-end video game on a goddamn calculator. It's not gonna work. Every time you see these tech billionaires talking about uploading their consciousness or Neuralink, they are showing you their terror. They know their time is up. They know that when the 2026 synchronization happens, their machines are going to fry. Their cloud is going to evaporate. Their digital ID is going to be worthless. The only ID that matters is the biometric authentic spirit. If your DNA doesn't have the signature of the Father, you are getting deleted, period. No appeals, no tech support, just permanent annihilation. The Book of Raziel and the engineering of the body. We have to look at the Sefer Raziel HaMalach, the Book of Raziel. This is the knowledge that Yah gave to Adam through a manifestation of himself, the angel Raziel, at the gates of Eden. This text contains the specifications for the human machine. It explains how the 37 trillion cells in your body are actually resonance chambers. Each cell has a specific frequency. When you eat unclean things, pork, shellfish, bottom feeders, you are introducing noise into the system. You are gunking up the gears. You are making it impossible for your body to receive the first fruit signal. This is why the dietary laws in Leviticus chapter 11 are so critical. They aren't religious rules, they are maintenance protocols. If you want your hardware to survive the 2026 upgrade, you have to keep the filters clean. You can't expect a high-performance engine to run on sludge. The Book of Raziel also breaks down the sacred geometry of the body. Your skeletal structure, your nervous system, your circulatory system. It's all built on the same ratios as the tabernacle and the temple. You are the temple of the Most High. But if you fill that temple with idols, with the filth of the heathen, and with the leaven of the serpent seed, then you are a desecrated site. In 2026, Yah is coming to clean house. He's going to purge the temples that are salvageable and demolish the ones that are too far gone. The graphic agony of the firstborn. Think back to the first Passover in Egypt. That was a first fruits event. Yah claimed the firstborn of Israel, but he slaughtered the firstborn of Egypt. Exodus chapter 12, verse 29. And it came to pass that at midnight the Lord smote all the firstborn in the land of Egypt, from the firstborn of Pharaoh that sat on his throne unto the firstborn of the captive that was in the dungeon. Imagine the sound of that night. 1 minute, it's quiet. The next, a wailing starts that shakes the very foundations of the pyramids. Every Egyptian household, every single one, woke up to find their oldest child cold, blue, and dead in their bed. I'm talking about mothers screaming until their vocal cords snapped. I'm talking about fathers clutching the lifeless bodies of their heirs, realizing their entire legacy was wiped out in a heartbeat. The smell of death was so thick in the air, you could taste it. The Egyptians were literally tripping over corpses as they tried to run out of their houses. That was just a small-scale demo. In 2026, the firstborn of the nations, their elite, their leaders, their best and brightest, are going to be the first to feel the wrath. The ones who think they're at the top of the food chain are going to realize they are just the first course for the vultures. The shofar, a signal broadcast. When we talk about the last trump, we are talking about a signal broadcast. The shofar is not just a musical instrument, it's a frequency generator. In the ancient world, the shofar was used to gather the people, to sound the alarm, and to announce the feast. But the great shofar, that sounds for the harvest of the first fruits, is a dimensional override. It's a sound that doesn't just travel through the air, it travels through the fabric of reality. It's going to hit every Israelite on the planet at the same time. It's going to be like a wake-up call for your DNA. If you've been doing the work, keeping the Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath, studying the Torah, calling on the true names, then that sound is going to feel like the most beautiful music you've ever heard. It's going to trigger the final stage of your transformation. But if you're still asleep, that sound is going to be a sonic weapon. It's going to vibrate your skull until your brains leak out of your ears. It's going to shatter your bones like glass. It's going to be the last thing you ever hear before you are erased from existence. The 2026 window, final preparations. We are standing on the threshold of the most significant event in human history. The Feast of First Fruits 2026 is the point of no return. The master engineer is already running the pre-flight checks. He's scanning the earth, looking for the ones who have the seal. Are you checking your own code? Are you looking at your life through the lens of the Torah? Or are you still trying to patch your existence with the traditions of the heathen? You can't fake this. You can't hack the system. This is a biometric harvest. Either your DNA resonates with the Father, or it doesn't. Either you are first fruits, or you are tares. We've looked at the hardware, we've looked at the physics, we've looked at the engineering of the body. But there is one more layer we have to peel back. We have to look at the geopolitical alignment. We have to look at how the nations are being moved like pieces on a chessboard to prepare for this harvest. In part 3, we are going to get into the war of the seeds. We're going to look at the two witnesses standing on their feet and why the nations are going to try to launch a preemptive strike against the awakening of Israel. We're going to talk about the final destruction of Babylon and the establishment of the kingdom under the 144,000. The clock is ticking, family. The 2026 synchronization is almost here. Are you ready to be waved, or are you ready to be burned? Now, in part 3, we are going to get into the final geopolitical collapse and the physical return of the master engineer in the flesh. Goose. Part 3, the 2026 kill switch and the harvest of the damned. We've decoded the hardware upgrade and the frequency of the 144,000, but now we have to look at the final geopolitical collapse and the physical return of the master engineer in the flesh to claim his first fruits. This is the moment where the spiritual signal meets the physical reality, and the world as you know it gets its throat cut. The geopolitical firewall and the two witnesses. The nations are not stupid. They see the Negro waking up from his coma, and they are shitting bricks. They know that when the house of Israel and the house of Judah, the two witnesses, stand on their feet, the Gentile lease on this earth is expired. Revelation chapter 11, verse 11. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from Yah entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. This great fear is why you see the world leaders scrambling. They are trying to build a geopolitical firewall to stop the first fruits from gathering. They want to keep you trapped in their digital ghettos, distracted by their fake elections and their manufactured wars. But while they are playing checkers, the master engineer is playing 12D chess. Look at the alignment of the nations right now. You have the archetype of the Medes and the archetype of Elam forming a power block that is designed to dismantle the archetype of Babylon. This isn't a political shift, it's a system shutdown. Yah is using the heathen to destroy the heathen so that the path is clear for the 144,000 to take dominion. The first fruits of 2026 are the ones who see through the smoke and mirrors. They aren't voting for the next puppet. They are preparing their vessels for the harvest. They know that the two witnesses standing up means the end of the Gentile world's rejoicing over our dead bodies. For 400 years, they sent gifts to each other while we were at the bottom. They built their banks on our blood, their churches on our backs, and their cities on our bones. In 2026, the bill comes due. The 2026 kill switch, deleting the serpent seed. When the first fruit signal reaches its peak in 2026, it acts as a kill switch for the serpent seed infrastructure. Everything they have built, their financial systems, their power grids, their communication networks, is built on a corrupted foundation. It cannot handle the high voltage glory of the Most High. Think of a surge protector. If you hit a cheap power strip with a bolt of lightning, it doesn't just turn off, it melts. It catches fire. The wires inside fuse together in a mess of stinking plastic and copper. That is what is going to happen to the world's economy. The merchants of the earth are going to stand afar off, weeping and wailing, because their entire digital Ponzi scheme just got deleted by the master engineer's harvest pulse. But the destruction isn't just digital, it's biological. The serpent seed, the descendants of Kaf Yad Nun, Cain, carry a DNA frequency that is fundamentally antagonistic to the spirit of Yah. They are the tares that look like wheat but have no life in them. When the first fruits are waved and accepted, the tares are bundled for the fire. I'm talking about a biological purge so graphic, it'll make the plagues of Egypt look like a goddamn paper cut. You ever seen a body reject an organ transplant? The immune system goes into overdrive and starts attacking the foreign tissue. In 2026, the Earth itself, which is the master engineer's containment vessel, is going to reject the serpent seed. Their skin is going to start crawling with boils that don't heal. I'm talking about weeping, pus-filled sores that smell like rotting garbage. They'll try to wash them, but the water will turn to blood in their hands. They'll try to hide in their bunkers, but the high-frequency signal will penetrate through miles of concrete and steel. There is no firewall that can stop the spirit of the Most High. They will be trapped in their own luxury tombs, watching their flesh slide off their bones in stinking heaps while they scream for a death that won't come fast enough. The return of the master engineer, Yad-He-Wah-Shin Ayin, in the flesh. We have to talk about the physical return. Most of you have this Gentile Jesus in your head, some long-haired, blue-eyed hippie knocking on the door. Get that bullshit out of your mind. When Yah returns in the flesh as Yad-He-Wah-Shin Ayin, Jesus, he isn't coming to have a conversation. He's coming to execute judgment. Revelation chapter 19, verse 15. And out of his mouth goeth the sharp sword, that with it he should smite the nations. And he shall rule them with a rod of iron. And he treadeth the winepress of the fierceness and wrath of Almighty Yah. The winepress is a technical description of mass liquidation. You ever seen a winepress in action? You throw the grapes in and you crush them until the juice runs out. That juice is the blood of the nations. Imagine the scene. The sky splits open like a curtain being ripped in half. The luminaries in the firmament, the sun and the moon, go dark because the source of light has arrived. The atmosphere becomes supercharged with static electricity. And then he appears, not as a spirit, but as a glorified Israelite man with eyes like flames of fire and a voice like the roar of 1,000 waterfalls. The nations will try to fight him. They'll launch their missiles, they'll fly their jets, they'll use their Space Force weapons. It'll be like trying to throw toothpicks at a hurricane. He will speak a single word, a Paleo-Hebrew command, and their hardware will simply cease to exist. Their planes will fall out of the sky like dead birds. Their tanks will turn into puddles of molten iron. Their soldiers will be vaporized where they stand, leaving nothing but charred shadows on the pavement. The blood will flow in the streets of the quote-unquote great city until it reaches the horses' bridles. Revelation chapter 14, verse 20. That is approximately 4 feet deep. Imagine wading through a river of warm, sticky, metallic-smelling human blood. The bodies of the quote-unquote mighty men will be piled so high that the birds of the air won't be able to finish the feast. This is the quote-unquote first fruits harvest, the separation of the chosen from the condemned. The 144,000 and the new governance. Once the purge is complete, the 144,000, the first fruits, will take their places in the new operating system. This is the kingdom of heaven on the flat earth. It's not a cloud, it's a government. The 144,000 will be the administrators, the engineers, and the judges. They will have the seal of Yah in their foreheads, meaning their minds are perfectly synced with the master engineer's blueprint. They won't need laws written on paper because the Torah will be written in their DNA. They will be the head, Resh, and the nations will be the tail. The surviving heathen, the ones who weren't part of the serpent seed but were just the day 6 populations, will have to come up to Jerusalem every year to keep the Feast of Tabernacles. And if they don't, Zechariah chapter 14, verse 17. And it shall be that whoso will not come up of all the families of the earth unto Jerusalem to worship the King, the Lord of hosts, even upon them shall be no rain. This is environmental control. The 144,000 will have the access codes to the firmament's weather systems. If a nation rebels, their water supply gets cut off at the source. No rain, no crops, no life. This is the rod of iron governance. It's not a democracy. It's a theocratic technocracy. The altar call, recoding your life for 2026. Family, I've laid it all out. I've shown you the schedule, the hardware, the frequency, and the graphic reality of the judgment. Now, the question is, what the hell are you gonna do about it? You are sitting there in 2024, 2025, watching the clock tick down to 2026. You think you have time to keep playing church? You think you can keep eating that leaven garbage from your Sunday morning pimp? You think you can keep ignoring the Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath and still pass the biometric security check? If you are still living, you are unfit for the harvest. If your DNA is still vibrating at the frequency of the world, you are going to shatter when the shofar sounds. Repentance isn't just saying sorry. Repentance is recoding. It is a systematic removal of the serpent seed malware from your life. 1. Scrub the names. Stop calling on Jesus, God, and the Lord. Those are dead frequencies. Use the true names, Yad-He-Wah-He and Yad-He-Wah-Shen-Ayin. This is your network authentication. Without the names, you have no connection. 2. Clean the hardware. Stop putting filth into your body. The dietary laws are not optional. They are your biological maintenance protocol. If you are still eating pork, you are literally building your body out of unclean code. You are making yourself a target for the fire. 3. Sync the clock. Get on the master engineer schedule. The Saturday sunrise to sunset Sabbath is the system reboot. If you miss the reboot, your software gets buggy. If you miss the feast, you miss the power cycles. You cannot be first fruits if you are running on a Roman calendar. 4. Delete the malware. Get out of the churches. Get out of the quote-unquote black excellence movements. Get out of the political parties. Those are all serpent seed traps designed to jam your signal. If you don't do this work now, don't you dare cry when the 2026 window opens and you find yourself on the wrong side of the firewall. Don't you dare act surprised when your cells start to vibrate and your eyes start to melt in their holes. You were given the technical manual. You were given the warning. You were given the names. The final declaration of the first fruits. The Feast of First Fruits 2026 is the day the Negro stands as the head strength, Resh Aleph, of the earth. It is the day the mark, Taw, of the covenant is finally vindicated. We have been the last for so long that we've forgotten what it's like to be the first. We've been the tail for so long that we've forgotten we were engineered to be the head. But the master engineer has not forgotten. He has been watching the wave sheaf of our suffering, and he is about to accept the harvest. To the brothers in the islands, to the sisters in the cities, to the families in the wilderness, hold your heads up. The 2026 synchronization is your redemption. It is the moment your DNA finally matches the throne room. It is the moment you step out of the death virus and into the bright nature of the kingdom. The serpent seed is terrified because they know their great reset is nothing compared to Yah's ultimate reboot. They can build their AI. They can launch their satellites. They can hide in their holes, but they cannot stop the first fruits from rising. We are the 144,000. We are the redeemed from among men. We are the ones who follow the Lamb whithersoever he goeth. And in 2026, we are going home. Sign off. This concludes our deep dive episode on the Feast of First Fruits 2026. I hope your spirit is fired up and your mind is clear, because the time for games is over. You have the blueprint. You have the codes. Now, execute the protocol. I am Brother Betsade Lamed Aleph Lamed, and this has been Yah First Ministries. Thank you for tuning in, family. Thank you for having the ears to hear the meat and the stomach to digest the truth. Share this episode with every sleeping Israelite you know. Wake them up before the shofar does it for them. Stay tuned, because in our next session, we're going to be breaking down the engineering of the New Jerusalem, the 12-layered motherboard city that is coming down from the firmament. You don't want to miss the specs on that one. Keep the Sabbath, keep the names, keep the faith. Yah first, always. Peace and power to the remnant. I'm out.
Was I getting true?